Next, each of us will have a divine opportunity to set a sacred intention around one of the 12 powers for 2024. And before I welcome Susan and Camille up, does everyone have a candle? Is there anyone that does not have a candle? Oh, I see Marge has got her hand up. By the way, if you have an electric car, you might want to see her about. It's shocking. Oh, the paper candles, right. You'll be writing on this sheet of paper, so you might want some paper. Or you could ink on that. Anyway, please welcome Susan Heine, our licensed Unity teacher, and Camille Gephardt as they guide us through the 12 Powers ceremony.
Thank you, Bob. And thank you to the Grinch. I don't know where he or she went. The Grinch is downstairs with the kids. Okay, good. That's where the noise we're hearing. Well, welcome, everyone. Hi, Michael. I didn't see you come in. Yeah. I'm so glad you're here today. You know, when I woke up, it was pretty foggy, and I was wondering if people would be brave to come out, and you were. So that's great. It's always nice having my family here, my Unity family, and I see a few new faces. Welcome. So this is great. Christmas Eve, here we are together. And that's a wonderful feeling because I'm here with my family, my Unity people, Unitics as we so lovingly call you. And for many years, this spiritual center and other Unity congregations have celebrated this time with the lighting of the 12 power candles. This is a time for contemplation, a time also for inward joy. Christmas is known as the celebration of Jesus' birth, right? Yeah, okay. Everybody looks so solemn, you know. And here at Unity and other New Thought churches, we use this time of the year to celebrate our spiritual birth. It's our awakening to the Christ that's within. Metaphysically, Jesus' birth is our awakening to the divine. We can use this time of the year to know that we are spiritual beings and we're having both a human and a divine experience. I just saw the Grinch walk in. So, some of you that know the Bible know that the very first page of the Bible says what? We were born in the image and likeness of God. So what does that mean we are? We are the offsprings of a mighty God. Let's celebrate our connection to God, which is the true source. Here at Unity and other New Thought churches, we refer to that source that's within us as the Christ. We light that large candle every Sunday to remind us of that Christ that's within us. Right? We do that, yes. So our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, through years of studying the Bible and ancient scripts, announced that the divine source that's in us, that Christ, has given us 12 capabilities, if you will, 12 powers. They're like sub-powers to the main power. Right? Okay. And these 12 powers help us navigate our life's journey. Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down. Life's journey. Our work is to call forth these divine powers within so we can live from a Christ consciousness. As our way shower, Jesus of Nazareth, demonstrated in his life, he used spiritual powers for healing. We too can do that. So today we're going to light candles that represent the 12 spiritual powers. And know that each one comes from the source. Camille, my lovely assistant, Vanna to some of you, Camille is going to do the actual lighting, and after the candle is lit, on the screen you're going to see an affirmation that all of you, if you choose to, can join in. It's our version of call and response. So we're going to start with the color blue, dark blue, just like the universe, the sky of darkness. And this is faith. Part of the Christmas story is the wise men set out to journey to locate the Christ child. They were guided not only by the star, but by faith. Metaphysically, the bright star is our Christ light, and faith is the power to believe. Do you believe that? Okay. In our life's journey, we never know what obstacles are going to come our way. But if we rely on the power of faith, we can overcome these obstacles. Let me ask you, how are you choosing to apply your power of faith in your current life? Are you sure that everything is going to go wrong, or are you putting faith behind your goodness and knowing that it'll come right? And next we have the power of strength. Now we're not talking about physical strength. This is that power of endurance that keeps us going. It's spiritual tenacity is the way I like to think of it. That oomph that keeps us getting up each morning and doing another day. There's a lot going on in this outer world, and it can leave us feeling a whirlwind of emotions, right? Anybody feel like that? Well, the good news is we rely on spiritual strength to look away from the chaos and to go within and know that there's a Christ spirit within you. Relying on your spiritual strength brings us through and takes us to that point of joy. Let me ask, for the holidays, how are you going to choose joy and rely on your power of strength? All of you going to do that? I see some heads nodding. Well, now we're going to look at wisdom, or another way of saying that, right judgment. We as humans often make decisions, well, unfortunately, out of fear. We might think that there's just not enough and hold on to the thoughts, I got to get my share. Yet there is a calmer, more harmonious way to make a decision. We can choose to use the power of wisdom. Wisdom's available to all of us, not just those with advanced degrees, powerful positions, or years of experience. We can get quiet at any time, go within, tap into the spiritual power of wisdom, knowing that it comes from the source. And it can help you daily with small decisions or the big decisions. Right? Okay. So here's another question proposed to you. Are you open and receptive to this innate spiritual power of wisdom? Yes, good. Well, the next power is love. Welcome. It is said that love resides in your heart center. In your heart center. You feel it sometimes? Jesus and other spiritual teachers encourage us to feel the love by listening to our heart. Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, said this spiritual power, love, is the pure essence that binds together the whole human family. Love binds us together. For many of us, we can pause, take time to listen to that still small voice within, and feel the power of love. Often we need to do that for ourselves. Feel the love for yourself, and then you can feel it for others. Think of ways you can express and radiate love for yourself and for others. One way that I choose, and many of you do too, is through gratitude. With gratitude, we can feel the love for ourselves, for our surroundings, and therefore it passes on. Love is truly amazing because when we feel it, people see that, and then it passes on to other people. All right. Well, now we're to purple, royalty. I think of purple as kings and queens that we all are. Purple is actually the power of dominion, sometimes referred to as the power of power, meaning that you have dominion over your thoughts and your feelings. It's you that can look at what you're feeling and thinking. But as humans, do you ever feel powerless? Maybe powerless over outward circumstances? Yeah, I see some people nodding. Well, yes, of course we do. We're humans, and we're having this human experience here. We get caught up in our human lives and sometimes forget that we're also spiritual beings, and we forget that we can go within. Yet we have all the power we need. We don't need to focus on powerlessness. So some of you in here are in the 9:30 morning class on Sundays, and we've been studying Eric Butterworth's book. So this will sound very familiar to you. Eric Butterworth says, we are human in expression and divine in creation. I should be hearing, woohoo! I mean, think about that. Think about that. I mean, that's pretty amazing stuff, right? Those of you that are on the prayer team, I know you know that. We've seen people heal from the inside out through prayer, through knowing that the first line of the Bible is, we were born in the image and likeness of God. Keep remembering that, my friends. Okay, leaving purple. Now, so a lot of you here do a lot of reading, I know, and many of you know that in Eastern cultures, there's a third eye. And this third eye we often refer to as right here, right? That's familiar to some of you. Okay, so in your third eye, what really happens? Visioning. You can vision there. So this spiritual power is the spiritual power of imagination. We were born with that. How we use our imagination is up to us. We can fear the worst scenario. Oh my God, if I take that job, I'll probably get fired, and you know how our minds go, right? Or we can own the spiritual power of imagination and create a pleasant expectation. I'm going to take this job, and it's going to be the perfect fit. Y'all say that when you take a new job? The spiritual power of imagination enables us to see ourselves happy, healthy, and prosperous. Now here's another question for you. Can you see examples of prosperity in your life? Or maybe in your church life? Amen? Do I get an amen on that? Yeah. We are a prosperous group here. Our next one is spiritual understanding. This is really, really wonderful. I've been coming to Unity for 35 years, and in my adult life of growing up in Unity, in my adult life, the 35 years being encouraged to meditate and attend services like this. And I've often, years ago, I went to the village quite frequently for retreats. And what has happened by just showing up is a deeper knowing, spiritual understanding. It's an internal knowing with a capital N is how I see it. This power, when used along with faith, gives us the ability to realize there is something in our universe that is greater than this human self. Any of you seen the pictures from the telescope that's out in space and it just shows the whole universe? I mean, it's like amazing. And we are this little tiny dot that thinks we're so important. So, spiritual understanding. So circumstances in my life can change suddenly, and yours too. Yet with spiritual power of understanding, I know divine spirit remains unchangeable, and it's my unchangeable good. It's always there. It doesn't change. How are we doing? Okay, so now we're at the spiritual power of will. Anybody here ever get their human will in their way? The Grinch is back there waving. Kevin, you're waving at me. All right. Well, will actually, as a spiritual power, can be used to co-create with spirit. You don't have to be a victim of circumstances. I can use the spiritual power of will to create intentions for good. Think of that. I can use spiritual power of will to create intentions of good. This power of will can take charge of the I can't thoughts. That's not for me. I can't do that. Who am I? Anybody ever think like that? And you can change it using will, the spiritual power within you, to decide to co-create your good. This power, it's open to the universe to provide joyful surprises. Sometimes they're not what you thought they would be. Give a little personal example. I had a career job that I loved at the University of Chicago, and I got laid off, and it was the month of May, and I was really heartbroken. And I came home and I was moping around, and my roommate at that time said to me, did you get a severance package? And I said, yeah. And she said, how many weeks? And I said, 4. And she said, now let me get this right. Oh, it was June. So it's the summer. You have 4 weeks pay, and you're gloomy. Why? It's like, because I was focused on poor me. You know, why would they do that to me? I'm the best. You know, that, all those thoughts going through your mind. And luckily, through my program, through Unity, I was able to right-size. And right-sizing was using these powers. So I have another question for you. Do you anticipate your joy? Was that a clap? Oh, that was the Grinch clap, okay. All right. Okay, here's another question. Do you think life is messy at times? Maybe your life? Yeah. Okay. With the spiritual power of order, we can think of ourselves as co-creators with the divine. Each day, we can turn our will and our lives over to that Christ power within you, asking for clear directions. Ask for what you need. We can imagine ourselves in the right time and right place, using wisdom to give us order in our lives. Now, this isn't talking about order like arranging your CDs according to alphabetical order. It's order where you love yourself and others, and you feel harmony with yourself and others. Spiritual order can be a tool for letting go of certain outcomes that you thought of, that you wanted. Letting the goodness of the universe work. So sometimes life appears not as you planned it, but boom, there you are, and that's a blessing. We can feel joy around that. So I encourage you to give thanks for the power of order. And say to yourself, another question, do I let go and let Spirit work? Maybe daily saying that, all through the day saying that. Letting go and letting God, some of us say. How are we doing? Okay. Well, now we are at one of my favorites, and those that you know me, why don't you say what you think this one is? Zeal. I do have a few friends here. Okay. So what is the spiritual power? Say it with? Zeal. Okay, thank you, Bob. That's correct, it's zeal. Zeal, another name, is enthusiasm. And I often feel that here at Unity, especially with our prosperous thinking, our healing prayers, and our love for each other in our community, there is zeal. When I think of the blessings in my life, although at first I didn't think they would be blessings, like a divorce, layoffs, health challenges, moving from my wonderful home in Chicago to Fort Wayne. I mean, all these things have happened, and yet my life is so full of blessings. Another less personal example, preparing for this talk today, at first it appeared like it was going to be a hard task. Like, oh, I have to do this all myself. And I was like a little overwhelmed. And I called my friend, the wonderful bookstore manager, Marge. And she reminded me that it was a blessing to be able to be up here. Thank you, Marge. So what moved from appearing to be a hard task moved to just joy. Joy to be here today. And to be talking about these spiritual powers that really work if you work it. It's a wonderful minister. It's part of the big part of Unity's ministry. And her name is Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman, who has made her transition. But she used to say over and over at her classes, at her Sunday sermons, which had 3,000 people. This is on the south side of Chicago. She would say, all this works if you work it. It's really up to you. Yeah, so you can keep feeling miserable if you want to. I mean, it's really up to you. So, with the power of zeal, there's no end to your energy. Put zeal behind your thoughts. Now that can go both ways. You can put a lot of zeal behind your thoughts thinking, well, this is crappy weather. Or you could say, oh, it's going to lighten up and I can drive there. You know, it's really, again, up to you, but you have these tools that can help you. So our next one is often when Charles Fillmore came up with these, he referred to it as elimination. We often refer to it as release. And it's a spiritual tool. And with God's help, you can eliminate negative thoughts, these thoughts that block out your joy. As we would remove weeds from the flower garden in order to give the desired plants room to grow, we must remove weedy thoughts from our mind to prepare room for our birthing of the Christ within. I think Jesus said that in a parable. Remove the weeds. The weeds, again, we use a lot of metaphysics here, and the weeds are those negative thoughts that are holding you down. Sometimes they create a feeling that you're not enough, or the poor me. And yet knowing that we have all these spiritual tools within us, knowing that the Christ is within us at any time. Maybe sometimes you have to call a friend to right-size your thinking. But releasing those weedy thoughts is something that is possible. In a couple minutes, we're going to have a short meditation. And during that time, you could ask Spirit, what weed do you need to pull? And I see we have one more candle. It's the red candle. This candle, red, represents life. How can you use the power of life to energize your thoughts? Life works best when it's able to flow through the whole being as radiant energy. Those of you that have attended guided meditations, particularly Bob's here, he talks us through this radiance that goes through our whole body. And some of you that meditate regularly, you see that too. That's life. That's the life that we have. It can let this radiance shine. We can embrace it. And when we remember the spiritual gift of life, our light shines. When our light shines, it like gets turned on. And then you're around somebody else, and their light gets turned on. And then theirs, and theirs. This is how harmony and love spreads. Letting your light shine and not focused on others. Thank you for lighting all those. So thank you for listening. These are the 12 powers. And do you have something to say?
Yes. We are going to be moving into a short meditation. And during this meditation, if you could think about the 12 powers that we just discussed. And following will be a music video. And during that music video, if you could write on your paper candle the power that stood out for you.
So as I was talking, I've given you a few questions to ponder. You can think about those. You might want to get into a state where you feel comfortable right now. Some of us close our eyes, some just look down. You're breathing. You might want to breathe in slowly and breathe out naturally. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. This is your time to take in the fact that there are spiritual powers that can help us navigate life's journey. While Christmas time is a time to celebrate the birth of Jesus, it's also a time for us to remember and recognize that we were born as spiritual beings. We are God's expressing on earth. We have a lot of potential power. Power to love yourself and to love others. As we sit here peacefully, our work is to call forth these divine faculties, powers, and let them lead you to a Christ consciousness. The Christ consciousness that is love, comprehension, healing, and awareness. Awareness of who and what you are. Let Spirit guide you as to the power, this spiritual tool that comes to your mind today. You can write it on the candle during the next music. And as we close this time, let us think about gratitude. You can open your eyes, wiggle a little bit here. Come back into the room with a sense of gratitude for who and what you are. You are wonderful, wonderful people here. Hold on to that. And thank you for being here. Now to help us come back to this place so you can write on your candle, our lovely AV team back there is going to play a